This is Bofades, and he is stuck in ZF until he earns 1 million gold from this dungeon and this dungeon alone. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the series where Bofades is stuck in ZF until he earns 1 million gold. Today's episode is going to cover runs 61 through 70. And one thing before we start, I expected there to be pushback on this challenge, but I didn't expect as much vitriol as I'm seeing in the comments. This challenge isn't for everyone, and I never suggested or assumed it would be. I'm doing this for fun and kind of like for research purposes. I know this character will eventually have 1 million gold in his bags from only doing this dungeon, and if it takes like 400 runs with just, 5 pieces of transmog selling, I'm fine with that. Gold farmers or transmog farmers like me are fine playing the long game, and people that aren't are always going to tell you that it's impossible to sell these things. And here's what I've made on one of my transmog bank tunes over the last 2 years to suggest otherwise. So if you're here because the idea is interesting or you're curious about how long this is going to take, I'd like to say welcome, and I'd encourage you to not engage with the trolls in the comments. And I'm saying that fully aware that arguments and comments help push these videos out more. Getting in fights on social media about a video game or politics or religion just isn't worth it. And I'd encourage you to steer clear of that if possible. All right, so let's jump into today's video. Let's take a look at our bags. We have 19,397 gold. Let's go ahead and pull out our mail. No transmog sells overnight, but we did sell all of our trade materials, trade goods, as always. Greater Eternal Essence is going to come in hot. I think this is going to give us in between 400 and 600 gold every day. I did sell a recipe for a Greater Stone Shield potion for 100 gold. If we were to look at that on Undermine Exchange, we'd see that the median is 242 gold for that, with people trying to sell it for 61 silver, right? So I sold mine for below market value, which is okay. So let's open all that up. And that puts us at 20,411 before we start our runs today. And as promised in yesterday's video, I am going to open up all these lockboxes. We got around 26. So every 20 to 25 or so, I'm just going to unlock them and send them back to him and get them opened before we do a set of runs. And I shouldn't have looked at this on Undermine Exchange today. We kind of lessened my expectations for what we're going to actually get from these things, but, it's okay. They're already unlocked. I used one of his bank tunes in his warband to unlock them all, so let's go ahead and see what we got. Alright, our first thing, Chromite leg plates, 2,500. Royal Scepter, 1,500. Chromite chest piece. Myrmidon's gauntlets. Oh, we got a blue. Serpent slicer. Imperial leather breastplate. Oh, we got the recipe for thistle tea. And for those of you that say that it doesn't sell, I've sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. Again, I know 520 days and 544 days is a long time ago, but I took a break in between this 520 and this 3 months ago range. A break from gold farming, that is. So we would have seen more sales come through if I had stayed as consistent as I am right now. But yeah, 25 days ago, I sold one for 1,800, and on that same day, I sold one for 9,400. So kind of a big difference there, huh? Alright, so from opening up all these reinforced steel lockboxes, it says our looted item value is 40k, with the top item being the recipe, serpent slicer coming in second, and then chromite leg plates coming in third. I don't want to start 10 runs with my bags looking like this, so I'm going to vendor several of these things that I know aren't going to sell, and post the things that I think will. Alright, so we got everything posted. And I have to make a correction on our starting gold because I posted a few things there. We're starting today with 20,675 gold. Alright, I have reloaded Loot Appraiser, gonna eat my fried bonefish, and these 10 runs are gonna get started in 3 seconds. Formidable Bracers, 28k. Gut Wrencher, 6,500. Mist Cape Gloves, 2,400. So as always, I appreciate the positive comments and the thoughtful comments, and here's one that I wanted to highlight in today's video. He says, "Man, you're making me want to play WoW again. The thrill of farming is so tempting." So first of all, thank you for the engagement. I really appreciate it. And to your comment, I have to say that this is probably my favorite part of the game. Not filling up my bags with a lot of stuff that won't sell, but looking for things that are really rare that sell for a lot. There's that Bonecaster Sarong again, 43k. I get that from this pool quite a bit, I've noticed. But yeah, I love going into these old dungeons or zones or just killing things that I know has a chance to drop something that's very valuable. Sunscale belt, 6k. And this isn't hell to me, like what this guy said. So there's one thing that Gazrilla drops that is going to make us a lot of gold over the course of this challenge. It's It's like a pattern or a technique that they brought back with 10.17. It's called square holders or something. I sold one of them a month ago for 19K. Potent boots. I might stop announcing this one. Another Sunscale belt, 6K. Formidable shoulder pads, 15K. I think this is the best formidable piece. Vanguard leg plates. This is a good one, I think. I think it's actually our best drop so far. Another lunar sphere, 18K. So this person asked me why I chose ZF for this challenge. And there are a few reasons. One is that I like the layout. It's really easy to run. Second is for nostalgia reasons. I just really like this dungeon. I've always liked it. And third is obviously for the big drops that can come from here. Glorious leg plates, jade leg plates, skull flame shield, etc. And I guess lastly is because there's a little bit of steady gold here. It's not a lot, but the disenchant mats and the leather can add up over time. And if you're going to be farming for 1,000,000 gold in a dungeon, you need there to be a little bit of steady gold to come from it. Another ancient defender. Resplendent bracelets. Short sword of vengeance, 10K. Griffin mail greaves, 11K. So I sold a pattern of chimeric leggings right there for 94 gold. Brutish breastplate. Another pair of spell shock leggings. Ironhide greaves, 34K. Embossed plate shield. Impenetrable sabatons.
Sabaton.
Bloodforged shoulder pads, 10K. Our second pair of spell shock leggings, these 10 runs. Brain lash, 14K apparently. Jade piece, the circlet. Sunscale spalders, 8K. Jade gauntlets. Tyrant's chest piece. Bloodforged shoulder pads, 10K. Wind chaser orb. Griffin mail buckler, 10K. As that does it for these 10 runs, this is what I'm left with. I'm going to go ahead and vendor all this stuff. I am vendoring all the weapons because the vendor sell prices on these have gone up considerably since midnight. 35 gold for a wand. And I'm now going to disenchant all of the soulbound items. I had to disenchant some of these along the way because I was running out of room. Alright, so from that round of disenchanting, we got 124 large brilliant shards, 36 greater eternal essence, and no rich illusion dust this time, which is kind of odd. Alright, now I'm going to start vendoring items that I know I have 4 of, or items that I know share appearances with several other items. For example, like the potent set, I know I have 4 of each of these things now, so I'm just going to sell these. The opulent set, I have 4 of these gloves, so I'll go ahead and sell that. And the reason I'm saying 4 is because I have 1 on this guy's auction house, and then I have 1 on each auction house of his warband. We didn't get any good patterns today, so I'm going to sell all these. Alright, no epics in today's 10 runs, but we did get several blues. We got Girdle of Uther, we got 2 Spell Shock Leggings, we got Short Sword of Vengeance, we got the Gut Wrencher, and then we got the Brain Lash, which is a ring. Alright, let's take a look at our top 3 items. Our top item is the Vanguard leg plates. And when we look at that on Undermine Exchange, we see that there are 123 across all US realms, with the lowest being 20K. And that 20K is probably Area 52. Yep, Area 52. Storm Rage, Frostmourne, Illidan. So yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to price this. I might actually try to compete with this, to be honest. Our next item is the Impenetrable Sabatons, and we've looked at these before. There are 111 of these across all US realms. 2,200 is the lowest, so these are going to probably go up on the auction house for in between 2K and maybe 10K. And then lastly, Bonecaster's Sarong. I think I've looked at this one before as well. 300 gold on the low end, 42K across all US realms, or like that's the median, I guess. Tichondrius has a few up for 300, so not a great item. But on the right auction house, I might actually sell for a few thousand. And then one final note, we did get 4 more lock boxes. Once we get up to 20, in between 20 and 25 of these, we'll open these right before we do a set of runs. And before putting stuff on the auction house, we ended with 22,796 gold. It'll probably cost me 200 to 300 gold to post the things that I want to post. So hopefully before we start next episode, we should be in the 22,000 range. which puts us at 2.2% towards our goal. So we have quite a ways to go there. As always, if you like this sort of content, feel free to subscribe, comment, like. Your engagement is very helpful with brand new channels like mine. We did just pass 100 subscribers, which is worthy of celebrating. So take care. Until next time. See you soon.